Hey, it worked.
It did. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm like checking my hair because I was just gardening.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Gardening hair. Yeah, I was trying to get some plants in before it maybe might rain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vegetable garden?
No, just native plants. Just yeah, we had moved in here early 2001, and I mean they did a great job with landscaping, but there just aren't that many flowering plants in the backyard. And it like really, especially at this time of year, just really bums me out like not to see any bees. So it's like let's get some flowers in here.
Yeah.
And then maybe at some point we'll do more vegetables. We grow like snap peas and stuff, but it's hard. I feel like there's more of a commitment when it's like
Yeah.
something you're gonna eat.
Yeah. And then I go to the farmer's market and see amazing stuff. And I think I am spending so much effort trying to grow 5 tomatoes that don't taste very good.
Right.
What am I doing? So
Exactly.
I focus on the flowering plants as well. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a, and that's, yeah, I figured we have a farm share uh, that I feel like takes care of the whole vegetable piece of it anyway. And it tastes so good. Like there's no way I'd ever be able to grow those things. So, okay. So I'm the co-host. I don't think that really means anything different.
Right. Oh, yeah, I see. So do you see the breakout room option as co-host on the bottom?
I do. Yes.
Okay.
Captions.
Yeah.
Show captions.
Whiteboard. And we are recording already. It looked like it automatically started.
Oh yeah, we can pause that first.
Oh, I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Do you want to just say a brief? I know it's not goodbye, but like, do you want to?
Oh yeah, I could do that.
When
Should we do that at the top or at the end? Probably at the end.
No, do it at the top so people
At
have a
the top?
chance to.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Of course, our newsletter. No, it's not in there. I was looking for our newsletter because your bio is in it. All right, we can probably
mind giving my bio if you. I mean, I can.
Yeah.
Give people my background if that's helpful. I don't mind doing that.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
Should I disable the waiting room?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay.
Vivian's here. I see her. Oh, it's Kate. Hello. Oh, admit. Just gonna admit everyone. Did we disable? We disabled the waiting room.
I'll double check.
Oh yeah, it's disabled. We're good. So everyone else who's joining from this point forward should just pop in, and there should. Katie, hello. How are you?
I'm alive.
How's it going?
Good. Congratulations on the new kid.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. It's good to see you. I'm like, your stand is at the front of my mind. I
May
cannot
12th.
wait to get there. I know, believe me, I have it
And
flagged.
I
on my
have-
calendar.
And I have an intern who's been just busting her butt to like transplant like 6 hours a day, every day. It's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, she's
Awesome.
thrilled. She's a senior. She's not in school. So she's like, this beats the classroom. This is awesome.
Should like, is it like a senior internship?
Yeah,
thing?
Ipswich has what they
that's
call the
awesome.
bridge program, and
Yeah.
the last term, if they have a certain GPA, they can just skip out on class and do real life experience. And
Yep.
apparently all of her friends are like, your intern's better than my internship. I'm stuck in an office all day.
I know, you're like, I'm outside, I'm with the plants.
She's like wet and dirty by the end of the day. It's awesome.
I think I did mine with I thought I was gonna be a vet for a minute there, and I did it with a vet. That was also pretty fun.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's what my younger daughter would want to do. That's
well, hey
awesome.
everyone. Hello. Welcome. It is our April meeting. We had a little break in there with March, but we're back. We're back. Hi, everybody. Feel free to come on camera if you're not having dinner. Hey, Maria. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Exhausted. I had to go out shopping today. Ugh.
I know. And it was a nice day too. I want to be inside. Hey, Jean and Kim and Kate and our other Kim, Sarah, Erica, Judy. I see you all. Vivian, Anna, Anne, and Kim. Great. I'm so glad you're all here. We're getting started here. Folks are kind of still rolling in from the waiting room. But yeah, I'm glad to see everybody's name. All right. So we took a little break in March, and this is our April meeting. And from this point, forward, we're going to be having monthly meetings now that we have our new coordinator. So I just wanted to, first of all, is there anyone who's here for the first time who has not been to these meetings before? If so, could you raise your actual hand or little emoji hand and just let us know, or you can put it in the chat. Okay. I don't see anyone saying that they're here for the first time. Oh, nope, Erica.
Erica.
Awesome. Hi, Erica. Well, and welcome. So I just wanted to, because we have a new person, I'll just quickly just say that the point of these meetings, is to bring together people from across the state who are interested in pollinator protection in various ways. Sometimes that means habitat creation. Some folks are involved in local community groups and policy. And this is a place for all of those people to get together and learn about the things that you're doing in your community, and to inspire each other to make change. And that's, in a nutshell, what we're all about. So I'm really glad you're here, Erica. And if everyone we're not going to go into our breakout rooms today, because we're going to try and have a sort of group discussion. So instead, if you just want to put your name and where you're calling in from, pronouns, anything else you want us to know about you in the chat, it'd be great to see who all is here. All right. So I'm Rosemary Malfi. I am the outgoing Pollinator Network Coordinator at NOFA, Mass. And I just, before turning things over to Renee, I just wanted to thank everyone very much for coming together over the last couple of years, and for all the work that you're doing in your communities. I have been endlessly inspired by you all. And I wasn't really a gardener much, I think, when I started this position. I appreciated plants sort of where they were. And now that's changed, and that's because of all of you. Yes, yay. So thank you all, and please continue to inspire each other. And I'll also, I'll be popping into these meetings from time to time too. So I'm not going away. And I still live in Massachusetts. All right. So with that, thank you all. I'm going to turn things over to Renee Scott, who is our new Pollinator Network Coordinator. I'm very excited to have her take on this position. She has such amazing background and experience. In particular, folks probably may know that Renee is coming from Green and Open Somerville, which she co-founded. And their organization has been involved, obviously, in many sustainability efforts in Somerville. That includes the native plant ordinance that passed there a couple of years ago, which was the first of its kind. And there still aren't very many that I know of across the nation. So it's really huge innovation and success. So Renee, we're so happy to have you. And I turn things over to you, and feel free to add anything you'd like folks to know about you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. It's been a whirlwind first 2.5 weeks, but it's been great. It's been so nice to connect with lots of people. Some I know and so many I don't. And it's inspiring about how active so many people are involved with NOFA. So yeah, so as Rosemary said, I'm with Green and Open, coming from Green and Open Somerville. We're in, if you don't know where Somerville is, we're in the eastern part of the state, next to Cambridge and Boston, and definitely part of the Boston metro area, the most densely populated city in certainly Massachusetts, perhaps New England. People argue about that, but all that to say, we have very little green space. And so I've dedicated the last 10 years of my life to try to increase green space, make it a lot healthier, and really bring, do restoration, ecological restoration, and really bring offer pollinators a place to live. So it fits right in with the work that NOFA is doing. And I've been thrilled to sort of increase my focus from a tiny little, 4 square miles to a whole state. So I'm really excited to be here. And I'm anyone is always welcome to email me with questions or concerns. One thing I did want to ask you all, I'm hoping, we can either talk about it here, or if it's better just to email me these thoughts, or what you would like to see out of these meetings moving forward. I'm open to suggestions. I'm still learning the ropes, so a lot of this is coming to me new. So if you want to tell me other things we should be, things we always have done, we should continue doing. If you have new ideas, let me know. I'd love to hear them. I'm happy to try to make this the most productive and useful forum that it can be. And it may already be that. So I'm not throwing shade on how it's been. I just am trying to learn how it is, how it should be, and what you would like to see. The other thing I wanted to update everyone on is sort of the other half of my work is on the policy front. And I've been working with, I'm guessing you all are familiar with Marty, and working on pollinator and pesticide legislation. And specifically, there's a hearing coming up on May 10th at the State House. And I'm guessing a lot of you have probably heard through various listservs, and we've been trying to reach out to let as many people know as possible. We are looking for people to write letters of support. If you want to show up, if you want to testify, if you want to testify online, if you want to submit your testimony, we'll take any or all of that. So I'm happy to, again, I don't know if I should just send you all the information on the, Rosemary, do you have a thought on that? Is that too much information to send it out to everyone on the Google group, or I can give you my email? Or
I think it's, if folks are signed up for the Google group, then you can, I think it's a fine way to do it. Is there,
okay.
But are some people not signed up for our Google group such that you wouldn't receive the information? Erica, or you're not signed up? Okay.
Erica, if you're interested in signing up, I can take your, if you want to message me your email, and then I'll make sure I get it and get you signed up. And then if everyone else is cool with that, I will just send you the info tomorrow on these, the hearing, which is exciting. There are a lot of really good bills under discussion for pesticides and pollinators, quite pesticide focused, but definitely some pollinator stuff in there too. So, awesome. And it's all connected anyways. And then let's see. I also wanted to open up for discussion. Vivian had reached out to me. Some of us were on a really fascinating seminar last night with the climate chief, with Healy's climate chief, Melissa Hoffer. And Vivian had something that she wanted to bring up for discussion. And Vivian, if I'm sorry to put you on the spot here, but would you be willing to sort of introduce what you were talking about, and then we can discuss and see if we can come up with some ideas?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. This is to follow up on discussions that we had earlier this year within the steering committee about some policy directions that we could bring up, both with Melissa Hoffer in terms of the executive branch, and then also legislatively when relevant. Excuse me, let me have some tea. And we discussed in that venue with the steering committee the idea that we need more people trained in ecological land care for all our ambitious programs to go through in terms of public policy, and also in the nonprofit sector and the business sector, et cetera, because we can come up with all sorts of great plans, but unless we have the infrastructure, so to speak, in terms of the people who understand how to work with the land and nurture pollinator friendly practices, we're not going to get very far. It's going to be limited to a few people who can afford kind of elite land care. And along these lines, here in Berkshire County, I've been involved in a project that just actually got underway, but it took about 6 months to put together, with Berkshire Community College to develop what's called a plan for climate resilience and pollinators. And this is being done in cooperation with the Conway School of Sustainable Landscape Planning and Design, which some of you may be familiar with. If not, I do recommend them as a very interesting resource, and maybe one that your town or institution actually can make use of for your own projects. Anyhow, we have the Conway School team working with a core team from the college. And then I'm involved representing the National Heritage Area, which in this area is called Housatonic Heritage for short. The full name is the Upper Housatonic Valley National Heritage Area. And this is a nonprofit organization but that works in partnership and in relationship with the National Park Service. So we get some federal funding and also some nonprofit sources of funding. And we are underwriting this project at Berkshire Community College because we feel that it's important to set an example of workforce training, number one, and also community education, because people can attend webinars, they can read articles, but it's so convincing for people to actually come and see a site where pollinator-friendly and climate-resilient practices have been developed and put into place, see what it looks like, maybe be able to attend a workshop, and for those who are on a career track to actually get training and certification. And when we discussed this at the steering committee meeting a couple of months ago, we were saying that this would be great as a model for other community colleges or perhaps technical high schools also, which have vocational programs, to become a part of what's offered, so that the only thing or the main thing that's out there is not from conventional land care methods, which are often very highly influenced by the chemical industry and purveyors of pesticides and herbicides. So that's the background, and that's taking place right now at the college in terms of planning. The plan will be complete at the end of June, and it will go online for free access for everyone. But not last night, was it last night? Yeah, I reached out, it seems like so long ago. Last night, I reached out to Climate Chief Melissa Hoffer at this gathering, and I asked her about this as a model and how the Healy administration could help promote it, obviously with funding and also their general policy directions. And she loved the idea. She said, "Oh, I never thought of that. That's a wonderful idea." She said something along those lines. And then she also said, "I'm going to share it with Secretary," and I think she said Secretary Tepper, who is the Secretary of Energy and the Energy and Environment Affairs administration under Governor Healy, the executive office. And so if anyone heard any different, Secretary, I'd appreciate your correcting me. But tomorrow I want to follow up by email with Climate Chief Hoffer and tell her a little bit more that I could. I had like 30 seconds to ask a question last night. Tell her a little bit more in email about the program. And also hopefully tell her that this in discussion tonight at the Massachusetts Pollinator Network, there was interest in that plan. People would like to see it go forward and think that maybe if the administration does make this more viable for other locations than the Berkshires, that they would be interested in their area. So I kind of am asking for reactions now, if this is something that would appeal to you to have as a resource in your area. You don't have to do anything about it. I'm not going to take names. I just would like to see probably a show of hands or questions or comments that I could pass along to Climate Chief Hoffer to show her that there is a broader interest beyond the Berkshires in our educational institutions becoming kind of living laboratories in terms of their own campuses, and also training grounds to create the people who are going to actually apply the policies that we hope to pass.
Thank you, Vivian, for that summary. That's awesome. It's awesome that you got to put that out there and that she was receptive to it. Let's start with a quick show of hands just for general support for the idea. And if you're off camera, you can use a little emoji hand or come off camera briefly to. Yeah, everyone I can see seems in favor, so I think you can report that back, Vivian. And then the folks who have their hands up now, is that because you have a question or a comment? Jean, did you? Okay. Oh, you're on mute.
Vivian, I teach high school kids in the summer how to do, they have 6 weeks to learn how to do ecological landscaping it's our area of Arlington, Belmont, and Cambridge. And they make native gardens and they meet. I mean, this would be a great way for them to know there's a stepping stone. Some of these kids, maybe more from Cambridge, might be interested in this as a career, but I can't rule out the Arlington and Belmont kids. So somehow I'd like to share what you're doing with them as the beyond, the next step. But I also, along the way, I find a lot of young kids who do yard work with contractors. And when I stop and tell them what native plants are all about, they're very interested, but they're not getting any of that by their, team or whatever. So any way I can endorse it, share info, spread it, I'd love to somehow connect that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Yeah, if we can connect by email after the meeting tonight, and you could send me just a brief description, like 100, 200 words at the most, that I could enclose with my email to Chief Hoffer. I'd like to very much include that, because I think it shows that it's beyond just the community college level. It's kids coming through the high school level who would be benefit from this at the high school level in programs like yours, and then also for those who are motivated to go on to actually get training at the community college level.
Also, and other people here may know, people at Minuteman Tech might be very interested in offering that as because they do have courses in environmental, I don't know, it's not just environmental science, it's applied, and maybe other people know.
Where's that, Jean?
Minuteman Tech is available to high school students who don't want to be part of their own high school in the Metro Boston area. I think there's, I don't know if Kim knows, there's about like 6 towns that are members of it. Lexington, Belmont, Arlington, maybe Medford. But yeah,
it's part of the technical schools that are all over the state. It's not just Minuteman. There are like 8 or 10 of them all around the state.
And they're technical high schools, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
up in Ipswich, we have Essex Aggie Tech, which is like an agricultural technical high school just for, kids who want to go into that. And they have a whole environmental science program too. So yeah, all the tech schools have them. It's really cool.
I didn't think Essex Aggie was, I thought that was community college level. I didn't think it was high school.
I think it goes down to high school, and then we have a tech school up in Haverhill too.
Yeah.
For Essex County. Yeah, all the counties have a tech school.
I think I saw Judy's hand up. I just really quickly wanted to slip I call on myself to ask a question. Vivian, for the program at the community college, who are the faculty and how are they being recruited, or how were they recruited if they're already participating?
Actually, it started with a professor of environmental science who had worked with Housatonic Heritage previously on workshops for teachers. And based on that, we approached him. We were the ones who offered the idea and the funding to bring in the Conway School, which has a modest fee, but that has to be paid. And so we approached him, the environmental science professor, and he was thrilled. And he told us about some of the activities that they already had that would mesh with this, that they had just become a bee campus. They had signed on as a bee campus under the Xerces program for bee cities and bee campuses. That they just did that last year. So he thought that would work well. And then they have a greenhouse for student purposes, which is really not fulfilling all its potential. And they thought it would be a great place to start seedlings for native plants. And they also have an upland meadow on campus. Now, Berkshire Community College is blessed with having a much larger campus than probably most community colleges. We have 180 acres, but a lot of that is wetlands and a lot of that is forested. So it's certainly not, in the core campus is just a few acres, which is probably more the size of most community colleges. But anyhow, he started telling us about all the resources and the potential, and that he would love to do head up a certificate training program. So we brought the idea, and then he started to brainstorm about how it could really lead to some major changes. And then the Conway School brought in the idea of, they do a teacher training program on bringing climate resilience into the classroom. And they thought that the data that they use is a hands-on data collection type of workshop on campus. And they thought that would mesh well with the larger project. And it's really important. And I think for our approach for someone like the climate chief, it's really important to show the tie-in between pollinator habitat and biodiverse habitat and climate resilience in terms of land use. That connection, I don't think has been emphasized enough. A lot of us know about it, but we have to make it more explicit. And that's one of the things that we're working on in this plan as an example. And it's not like every community college or technical high school or regular high school will need to have their own plan and contract for that. Once this plan is done, it provides like a template, and some parts of it will fit other campuses and some won't, but it presents a menu of options that other schools can follow. So it will have impact, hopefully across the state.
Cool. Judy? Oh, I can't hear you, Judy.
Yeah,
You're unmuted, it looks like, but I can't hear you. Is your computer, sometimes on the computer itself, it's like a setting? No.
can you type it in the chat?
Okay, Judy, yeah, that's it. Okay, Judy's. While Judy's doing that, does anyone else have a question or comment?
Well, I was just going to say that the Greenfield Community College made a large native plant meadow somewhere around 2019. And I have an article that was in ELA. It was written up in sometime in 2019. So it may have been started before, but there was a professor there that helped them grow, expand the campus with wildflowers. So I don't know if that's something you want to be in touch with, but I can, if you put your email, I'll send you the article.
Okay, you want my email now?
Well, just if you type it in the chat, I'll get it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Actually, I was just going to, speaking about articles, I read an article a number of years ago, I mean, like 3 or 4 years ago, before the pandemic. Everything is before or after the pandemic. Before the pandemic, about a study that was done in Springfield about more diverse lawns and mowing less frequently and how that helped pollinators. Does anybody know where to find that? It's kind of,
Yes.
when I searched for it, I didn't have and my terms were so general that I couldn't come up with it.
I'll send it to you. And it's Susanna?
Yeah, Suzanne
Lerman.
Lerman.
At
Yeah,
UMass, yeah.
thank you. Now that you mention it, I remember, but if you could send it, that would be great.
I can
Thank
do
you.
that.
Is that different from the study that was withdrawn?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
You send me that article too?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I can send you mean the one that wasn't withdrawn, correct?
Can you just put it, like, send it out to us or put it in
Yeah.
the chat or something?
Yeah, let me see if I can find it online. I'll do that right now. I think one question I had too, Vivian, and again, this will, I don't know if it's a question or a comment, but maybe this will change depending on the community college and the community. But I know, here, and Katie may know him too, we have someone locally named Jimmy Carnazza who does he has an organic landscaping training program. It's a nonprofit. And he'd be a perfect person to be involved, but he's not he's not affiliated with the university. He's not faculty. So how are those people potentially going to be brought into the program? Because it makes sense that, the Conway School's right there, and they're, very progressive on these things. So it makes sense that there's an immediate partnership, but in places where that knowledge might be more decentralized, right? Not at one particular institution. I guess I'm wondering how that would look potentially. And I don't know if you have the answer to that question.
It's an excellent question. The plan is just starting, and that's something that we should take into consideration. I'm hoping that it will include, and I am certainly suggesting that it include local resources. For example, here in the Berkshires, we have Bridget McCracken's Helia, whatever the full name is, Helia landscaping center, who specializes only in native plants and things like that. That we hope that the program will include kind of a roster of local resources, both for plants and for people and relevant institutions, for people who are interested in learning more. And maybe they would be invited into to do like a workshop on campus. And there are ways of doing that. But the process involves two community forums. The first one actually already took place on early Earth Day celebration on campus, and reached out to about 30 students and faculty at the time. And then there's going to be another one when the plan is further along, either last week in May or first week in June, to invite people to comment on it before it's finalized, and to kind of fine tune it or bring in points like you just brought in, Rosemary, and which can be included before the plan is finalized the last week of June.
Yeah, hi, can I ask Vivian a question?
Please.
Yes?
Yes, of course, yes.
Hello.
Hi.
My community is closest to Greenfield Community College. Everything that you have said fits right in with my dreams, thinking and such. And I'm wondering, how could I follow along with what the plan? How can I, other than tonight, how can I keep track of where it's going?
Well, for anyone who's interested, I put my email address in the chat as ecomotiva@gmail.com, and just email me your email and say, I'd like to put me on your list about the BCC plan. And I can provide updates and probably if it's approved by BCC, because of course they have a voice in how this is managed. We're there just as facilitators. I would invite those who are interested to the final community forum or town hall, as they call it, so that you can hear the presentation of the Conway team directly. So that would probably be the most direct way of keeping track once more progress has been made. But if you have any specific questions or anything like that, or if anything arises where I think it's important to notify a broader group, just send me your email and I'll do that.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then are the meeting chats going to stay up, or do we need to get what we can get right now?
I'm going through trying to pull out anything that seemed relevant for this discussion. And I guess they actually probably get saved in the recording as well, don't they, Rosemary?
They do, yeah. You could pull the file and send it out.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can also, folks, it's a matter of remembering right at the very end of the meeting, which I never seem to do, but you can also save it for yourself if you go to the chat window. There should be these 3 little dots, and you click that and you say save chat, and it'll save it to wherever your downloads usually go. Any other comments or questions on that?
Yeah, so if you put your email in, make sure your name shows up, next to it. I don't know, I guess that the chat does that automatically. I'm not sure.
It should, yeah. It should have your name, but yeah.
The next, we actually had another request for a discussion topic. If Vivian, if we're feeling finished with this, and if
Yeah, unless somebody has any other questions or comments, I really appreciate the feedback and the encouragement. Thank you.
It's an awesome program.
Amy Meltzer. Oh, sorry, Rosemary, I interrupted you.
No, I was just saying it's an awesome program, and I hope I hope to see it replicated.
Thank you, Rosemary. Thank you.
So Amy Meltzer, who isn't here, but she had put in a request to talk about growing native plants from seed. And I'm actually going to put her summary of it in the chat so we can all see it. Oh, geez, sorry, she's not saying. I forgot to put in what the deputy climate chief said. So let me pull that. Apologies, I did not get enough of that. I can just read it out. So Amy's request was, could the Commonwealth incentivize nurseries to grow native trees and shrubs from seed, so we have an adequate supply of trees that will not only sequester carbon and support biodiversity, but also, because they have genetic diversity, contribute some resilience to climate change? If the municipal reforestation bill gets passed, we will need thousands of trees. So Melissa Hoffer replied to Amy, and this was all last night after the seminar, so she was pretty responsive. And she said it's a good idea. She met a woman in Puerto Rico who's doing that, and she copied her deputy. So then I'm sorry. Did anything else happen? Oh, they're working on federal funding. So then what Amy wanted to know was if we have any ideas about making suggestions for their federal grant funding. And so I don't know if it's something we want to take.
What does she want? What kind of information does she want?
I don't know. And I wish she were here to explain more what she wanted.
It's a little confusing.
Yeah. So maybe we table this. I don't want to go off on the wrong path without her.
She might, an issue in the native plant trade is accessibility to native seeds that are local ecotype.
Right.
Some of it, that might be what she's alluding to, is getting nurseries permits to grow local ecotype trees,
Why do they
shrubs,
need
plants.
permits?
Because some of the stuff that we want to grow is state listed, endangered, or threatened. And
Oh.
legally, we can't collect any
Yeah.
part or
Okay.
own any plant. So which is weird, like we're allowed to take seeds from other states and grow that plant, but we can't take seeds from Massachusetts. So therefore we're bringing in outside genetics. So plants that are not,
Where are you, who are you with, Katie?
I have a nursery up in Ipswich called the Monarch Gardener,
Oh,
and I
okay.
grow as many local ecotype perennials and
that's
shrubs
nice.
as I
Oh,
can.
you know what?
But there are
We
some
should
things
add
I want to
you-
grow.
We should
Sorry?
add you to our pollinator pathway list.
We're actually getting Ipswich. A neighbor and I are trying to get Ipswich on it. So we're working on it actually right now. So
What is the name of your nursery?
the Monarch Gardener,
Okay.
but
thank you.
independently, like as a citizen, our neighbor and I are trying to get Ipswich on the Pollinator Pathways website. But that's actually my neighbor's more doing that. But anyways, that's a tangent. But a lot of the issues, this might be what Amy's alluding to, is what can she take to the state legislator, because we are tied with a lot of laws. We can't grow things we want to grow. We can, we just have to bring the seeds from out of state, which seems strange.
I had no idea. It's
My understanding
Yeah.
is she's trying to suggest, come up with ideas of what to ask for in the grant.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think so. And it's good that you're here, Katie, and also Kate. And Eric, I see you have your hand up, so I'm gonna get to you in just a second. But I think what she was alluding to, as I remember it in the email, was trying to talk to the people along that supply chain, right? Like the growers at the very beginning, to understand. I didn't even know that was an issue, but something like, how do you get the seed? How do you get the, nurseries to actually start propagating those trees? And I think she's talking about it in sort of in conjunction with this municipal reforestation bill that passed or is coming up,
Yes.
which would require more native trees. But it's like, if you can't get the trees, that's a problem.
Maybe something, because I'm involved with a grant someone out in Western Mass just got to start pollinator gardens at schools. And what she was looking for was a list of nurseries that could accommodate the grant. So maybe Amy's just looking for who could participate,
Well, who
has
can,
the
you know,
capacity to produce these things. Maybe.
we
possibly.
know, we meaning Andover, the pollinator pathway people, Trevor Smith, who is a landscape professional, but he does things with Weston Nursery, and Weston Nursery just told us that they have the ability to grow native plants for us. So that's a possibility. Maybe she would want to get in touch with Weston, because they have a huge capacity, I think, to provide native plants.
Well, I have a little concern about that, because it's been my experience this past weekend that native equals something different for different people.
Well,
And
we're working directly with Weston Nursery on this authentic native, none of this bogus stuff that's all,
right.
species, native species, I don't, they just started carrying a line, and I am sorry, I cannot remember the name of it, but they have just started this year in Mahoney's, carrying a line of native perennials grown without neonicotinoids, certified. I mean, absolutely.
Oh, that's Van Burkham in New Hampshire.
No, it's
No?
not them.
Oh,
No,
I'm glad, because that's the
No,
other issue.
it's
Some of
not
these big
them.
nurseries
It's,
douse everything in chemicals, even if it's
Yeah.
native.
I'm so sorry. I'll have to find out, and I'll let Renee know, and maybe she can send it out. But they're available this season for the first time. And then Weston, I think, is going to be willing to grow things for us to have for a plant sale next year.
And I think that's
So-
fantastic. However, you need to pay attention, because they are selling to our town in Carlisle to the garden club who promoted everybody to buy native plants. And the plants are from Florida, Alabama, Georgia, and they're
Well, this
right
is,
on the package says native plants, and
well,
people feel
okay,
bamboozled. So
I think they're coming around. I think that this is something new for them.
But I just think education is important because I remember when I started with native plants, it took me a little while to figure out that even when I went to a quote native nursery, I needed to do my independent research. I needed to figure out, is the plant from at least Eastern Massachusetts? And if I was interested in plants grown in Middlesex County, I really needed to pay attention. So I think that would be a good focus for
And I
all of
am
us to do.
suggesting that we are
Yeah.
paying attention.
Right. So I think, yeah, that, which is great. I think, but Judy, I think what your point sort of speaks to exactly what Katie was saying, right? So even if they wanted to grow like local ecotypic trees, right? It sounds like there's a barrier to actually getting that done. And so maybe that is something to potentially focus in on. Erica, you've had your hand up for so long. Yeah.
No worries. I'm glad this conversation is coming up, and this is my first time at this meeting, so I don't know what people are familiar with or not. You may already know all of these, so please bear with me if you already know of all this. I totally realize that this group probably does. But in terms of trees, my most expertise at this moment in time is with urban forestry. So growing native trees from seeds is very interesting to me as an urban ecologist. I do know a lot of these plant materials are coming from other places and a lot about that. And I'm buying plants this season, mainly from Native Plant Trust, City Natives, and Blue Stem Natives are the three that I've been able to work with for this one planting project that I'm doing. So I really recommend those. Blue Stem in Norwell is two women from Bridgewater State. They just built their own greenhouse with some help from Todd Breitenstein from South Shore Permaculture and Our Grateful Garden. So that was really cool to follow on social media. Also, the Wild Seed Project in Maine, Heather McCargo, that's one that's really caught my eye in terms of like they're providing employment for young people to learn seed collecting and seed saving and propagating native trees from seeds. Really interested in working with them a little more. But in terms of, I'm not on the email chain and I don't know the person that was talking to Melissa Hoffer, but if she's talking about starting urban or local nurseries, I know Katie, it sounds like you have that going on at your nursery. I'd love to visit your nursery. But we're really interested in terms of like young people, a lot of young people of color who've been marginalized. They haven't been able to participate in these spaces. I mean, they're not here tonight, to be honest, like just to, and I mean, I'm not one of them. I'm not a person of color, but I've been working with Power Corps Boston in the Boston area. It's a cohort of 18 to 30-year-olds who have either aged out of foster care, had experience with the carceral system, they've either been homeless or they have severe low income. There's some really fantastic young people out there that have more experience and want more experience with this. And I would highly recommend looking into those programs and actually at the federal level advocating for communities of color to get some of these fundings to start or be employees at urban nurseries that are focused on native plants and some of the things that people have been talking about, like local provenance, no neonics, stuff like that. These kids have really been asking to learn this stuff. So I guess in response to some of the stuff about like, what would you like to see in a future meeting? I mean, I don't know this group, so I might be speaking totally out of turn. But I'd love to see them like maybe invited into this network, some of the Power Corps Boston kids or some of the kids at the high schools. Can they come and participate? I mean, they might not be telling us about federal policies and, routes forward and all the nurseries they know, but I think their opinions would be cool to see. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that and that resource. And you're right, that's something, Renee and I kind of talked about as we were making this transition that, we haven't been successful in integrating some other populations, and we need to do that. So I really appreciate that, Erica. And if you have more information on the program that you were referencing, could you send it our way? That'd be really helpful.
I'll just
Uh,
add a bunch of things to the chat.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. I see. Renee, did you want to pop in? I see your hand is up. So.
Oh, Vivian, go first. I was definitely second.
Okay, Vivian.
Oh, I just wanted to ask, yes, Erica, everything you said, I'd like to learn more about. And if you could put any, at least the names and if possible, the URLs in the chat for everyone who might be interested also. The Power Core Boston, is that the name of the
Power Core.
organization? I haven't heard of that before, being out on the western edge of the state. And also you mentioned Our Grateful Garden as a permaculture center, or what is that? That sounded interesting.
Yeah, just a quick response. So yes, Power Core Boston is actually modeled after Power Core Philly. So that's a Philadelphia program. I'm studying stuff like really across the United States and mainly Northeast Mid-Atlantic in terms of urban forestry. So I'd love to be a resource. I want to learn more about you all. That's why I'm glad I saw this. I actually saw the advertisement for this, I think on like social media or something.
Oh, yeah.
So good job with that. That'll get people coming to this stuff. And I'll
Yeah.
share this meeting in this group with my network. Just because the Berkshires is in Western Mass doesn't mean that I won't be out there someday. So I hope to come and visit you. But I put the link for Power Core in the chat. Our Grateful Garden is a newer thing, I think, but Todd Breitenstein, who was kind of one of the founders, I guess, of the Southeast Wild Ones chapter, if I'm not mistaken, he's starting Our Grateful Garden. I think they're offering permaculture classes. I met with him this past summer and learned a little bit more about him. And oh yeah, if someone can post this all in the Google group for me, because I'm not in there yet, that would be cool. Yeah, Todd is cool. Todd started Our Grateful Garden, and I think it's for folks in the recovery community. So I
Wow.
think that's for folks who are recovering from addiction that are
I've
learning.
heard
And
about that
where
program.
is that? Where is that?
I want to say like South Shore, Mass, but
Okay.
I don't actually know. I met him at in Marshfield at a Wild Ones talk about converting lawns to not
Wow.
lawns.
Well, that's very topical.
Cool.
Thank you.
Erica, I will add you to the group tomorrow. So no worries. I wanted to ask, I'm woefully oblivious to Groundworks groups other than Groundworks Somerville, but in Somerville, the Groundworks organization is very focused on getting youth of color working and employed in gardens. You know, they're paid for typically it's the summer, but they do work a bit around the year. Gardening and I don't know so much landscaping, but definitely gardening and doing some tree care and stuff. So I don't know if that's a common groundwork thing or if it's unique to Somerville.
It's also in Groundworks Lawrence, they do that. They have the kids go up to a garden, a vegetable garden, commercial vegetable garden in New Hampshire.
Cool. I'm just looking that up. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's so many ideas I think that we could send Melissa's way. And I don't know the parameters of the federal grants they're even talking about. But I know that in the Boston area, that urban ag has been promoted. The Michelle has, the new mayor has been a proponent of that, and I think they created a whole new committee or something like that, and they're devoting more funding to it. And at the same time, there's actually more NRCS funding for those farms as well. They've changed their parameters so that these smaller farms can actually participate. And I think the cost sharing structure is more favorable for them than it has been in the past, which basically like made it not ever worth it for them to participate. So it sounds like there's an opportunity to sort of integrate education and training and seed production kind of all together. And of course, the voice missing at the table that I think, if the network was going to continue having these conversations would be with Native Plant Trust, right? Because they're launching their whole seed initiative in general and trying to train collectors and things like that. So we should definitely hear from them. Maria. Oh, Maria.
Yes. Does anyone know? I know our group, the Pollinator Pathway in Andover, we want to do winter seed starting in October, and we're looking for a speaker on winter seed gardening. And I haven't really come across, I've been looking for a while and I haven't really found anybody that I thought was appropriate for the topic. So I'm just wondering if anybody knows of anyone who does that. Who could-
I'm putting someone in the chat for you, the Cheryl in of Plant Magic in Beverly. She
Okay.
does, I don't do winter seed sowing. It doesn't work for my nursery, but she has a workshop space and she did some winter sowing workshops this past winter, and she does education. So she's worth contacting. And you might, I mean, Wild Seed does outreach. They are like, that's what they,
That's
are
what
you
they
thinking
do.
outdoor winter seed sowing or like greenhouse jug sowing?
No, this is
You're
just,
thinking outdoor?
we want, we just want, people to be able to do the jugs or whatever they're gonna do, out in their backyards, so that they can propagate and grow from seed. We have a seed library at our
Right. Yeah, I think I've
library.
donated seeds to your library.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she might be one to reach out to if,
Did
for
you
that.
put it
Yes,
in the chat?
Cheryl Plant Magic Beverly. Let me just pull up her email address and I'll copy and paste it. 1 second.
Okay, great.
I see Jan.
Maria, our Mystic Charles Pollinator Pathway Group led a winter sow workshop in November. We hosted one. It was led by Gary, what's his last name?
Phillips.
And he and Freddie Gillespie, both of those work with Jagir's list of seeds, the preservation pollinator preservation garden, and we did a twofer. We did the first session was on sifting and different methods for sifting, all through Zoom. And then the following month we did a workshop on demonstrating the sifting as well as demonstrating the winter sow. And then we led a mid-February winter sow. It was a little late, but a few of our plants still.
Okay, when you say we, who are you talking about, Jean?
Mystic Charles Pollinator Pathway.
Oh, okay, Mystic Charles. Okay, great.
So my email's in here. I can send you more information. I forget.
That would be great because we have somebody, what we were hoping was to do a Zoom and then do a workshop, like do a Zoom on a Tuesday night and do a workshop on a Saturday.
Yeah.
I second Gary Phillips. He's pretty amazing. Yeah. He actually sent me a bunch of cool seeds, so he would be a good person.
Yeah,
Gary Phillips.
he's wicked good.
And how do I get in touch with him?
I'll look at the email right now and see if I can find it. And
I'm only Facebook friends with him, so I don't know how to get in touch with
But
him.
if you tell him that the Mystic Charles Pollinator Pathway Group sent him, that would be great because
Okay, so are you putting this in the chat now?
I have his email. Oh, do you have his email? You have his email.
no, I was looking for it. If you have it, that would be great. Thank you.
Let me pull up my notebook.
And his name is Gary Phillips.
Phillips. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna direct message it to you, Maria, just so because he's
Oh.
not here to share it himself. So
A direct message. What is that?
for
Is that
you, it's
some-
just gonna show up like a regular chat.
Oh, okay.
You
Oh,
got
I
it?
see it. Yep, I got it. Thank you so much. And Jean, I will, reference you.
Well,
Cool.
not me, our group. I mean, it was
Yeah,
fun.
okay.
And it's a nice way to bring members together and share.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
trade.
yeah. That's what
worked.
we're hoping. Yep.
Oh.
Thank you.
We're running a little, we're running a little short on time. These were all really great ideas. It's obviously something we want to discuss again. It'd be great if Amy were also here to kind of anchor that conversation. Kate asked a question in the chat, and I do want to get to that before we leave tonight because I think it's important. Kate, did you want to share the exciting news about Conway? Oh, I don't know if are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, we've got a pollinator friendly resolution that's going to be voted on in our town on June 3rd. So excited about that and trying to create some momentum behind it. And so I did put a question in the chat asking if anybody who's passed one of these resolutions in their town has put together any kind of like a frequently asked questions information sheet. I've started something, but if somebody already has that in place, I would love to get a copy.
The two people who come to mind right now would be Cynthia Crepaldi, because they were doing a whole campaign out in the Berkshires. So they might have some outreach materials. And then the Monterey group in particular has been like very doing a lot of that kind of thing. Do you have, and if you don't have their contacts, I can send those. We can send those to you.
I'm not sure I do. So
Okay.
how about if I email you just to ask?
Yeah.
Remind you? Okay, thanks.
Sure. It's a great idea. And if you end up doing something like that or finding it, it'd be great to share it with the group, because that's, yeah, the more materials we have to get those things passed, the better.
Yeah, we're actually creating some web pages and we'll be putting whatever we create up there. So,
Oh, great.
yeah.
Even better.
Yeah. Great, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you. Renee, what do you, or should we, do you want to close?
Sure. So, yeah, we're going to wrap it up now. It's been really great to attend my first official meeting. As I put my email in the chat, it's renee@novamass.org. Please reach out to me. I really would love to hear ideas for how to keep these meetings going in the future, things you want to talk about. And yeah, I will. So I'll talk to Rosemary about if I send notes or not. I'm sorry. This is something I'm not even sure if I do.
We're going to come up with some new, I have some, yeah, anyway, we're going to come up with some new methods of sharing information too that are a little more effective.
So just stay tuned.
Yes.
It'll be a
indeed.
fun surprise. So.
Great. Nice
Well,
to see you.
It was nice to see everyone. I mean, we had a smaller group tonight, and actually I thought that was great because we got to hear from more folks and have a little discussion. Erica, it was really nice to meet you, and I hope we see you back here. And yeah,
Rosemary, what are you doing? Can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing?
Yeah,
I
and how
forgot
to
that
get in
part.
touch with you.
yeah, like forgot to say that part. I'm now working for the Xerces Society for Invertebrate Conservation, and not doing all of the same things, but sort of doing some similar work. So I'm going to be focused on policy as it pertains to pesticides at various levels. So that anywhere from local to federal level, trying to track the different things that are moving and trying to create kind of a proactive strategy for reducing pesticide use. Because as you all know, it's very hard to move out of that reactive space because things just fly so fast. So trying to figure out ways to create some progress on these issues. But yeah, so that's in a nutshell what I am doing now, but I still live, I'm not moving, it's a remote position. So I'm here in Massachusetts. I'm still, following everything that's happening here. And I am gonna, I'm gonna testify, I think, at the public hearing for some of those bills. So I am both moving on and also not going anywhere. And if you want to reach me, my NOVA address will work for a while longer because I am actually still working on a project with NOVA, but you can reach me now more quickly at rosemary.malfi@xerces.org, and I'll put that in the chat.
And Rosemary, I just want to thank you for your big shoes to fill here. You've clearly done a really good job. So and you've been very great about training me. So I just thank you
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm excited to have you here, and I'm excited for all the progress that we're going to make, because I think we're at a really exciting point where we really gelled over these last couple of years, and there's some really great ideas that have been emerging and a lot of synergy. It turns out networking, creates those things. So thank you everyone very, very much. We'll see you at the end of May.
Wow.
What's the date? What's the date for the?
Pull up my calendar. In spite of that being one of the first pieces of advice that Peggy ever gave me about hosting meetings, I never seem to have the date right. It would be, if we stick with Tuesdays, it'll be the 30th of
The
May.
30th, okay.
So pretty late in the month. Oh, and Memorial, okay, well, Memorial Day is before that, yeah.
Memorial Day is the day before.
The
yeah.
day before, yeah.
Good
Cool.
luck,
Thank you.
Rosemary.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. We'll see you
Thank you.
soon. And thank you, Renee.
Thanks, Renee. Nice to see you.
Thank you
Bye.
all.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
y'all.
Thank you. Bye.